I tried something new today.
What's
we
that?
can chat.
Who?
I said we'll chat about it.
Oh.
Welcome to a BS podcast. Mark and Bobby back with you. Trying to stay on a little more tighter schedule instead of a couple of weeks apart.
Well, we don't want you getting yelled at any meetups.
And as Mark's been making fun of me because I always tell him it's allergies, but I went to the Hoosier Firewood Hysteria, spent all day outside in the rain, and wound up with a cold.
I guess I'm hoping it is allergies, or I'm getting out of here.
You'll be fine. That was part of the reason I talked to my brother today, and that was one of the reasons I had actually planned on going down and seeing him today, and decided I'd probably not go see a guy on a what do you call that, immune suppressants or whatever that they give you after you have a transplant.
Yeah.
I didn't
rejection meds.
Yeah, I didn't figure. It's like it basically wipe out your immune system so your body doesn't reject your new innards. I was like, I probably ought to stay home.
Yeah.
So I called him on the phone instead.
That's just as good. I just downloaded a new watch face.
That's
That's not allergies. That's just Bob taking too big of a hit.
I probably shouldn't be smoking, and I haven't been smoking as much this week because it's been too much.
Well, what are you smoking, and what are you smoking it out of?
I am smoking a Scudo, and I am smoking it out of a Briarworks stubby billiard. I think this is a classic C20 something, C21 or C22.
Sounds like some VP Racing fuel.
I don't know. I can't. I'll stick it up to the camera so you can see it, but I don't remember the number on it, and I'm not going to try and flip it over right now to see it.
Yeah, it's probably smart.
But it's a great little pipe. I figured when I was at the pipe show at Muletown Pipe Show, since you're at the Briarworks factory, I didn't own any Briarworks pipes, and so I figured I might as well buy one while I was at the factory. Nothing like buying factory direct.
Yeah.
I don't think it does anything for the prices, but they're still the same price. But
well, this is probably a pretty good Saturday for you. This is the first Saturday in a while you haven't had to work, or you weren't off work for something.
Yeah, this is nice because it's a Saturday. I'm actually at home.
Yeah.
So so far it's been a good day.
Good.
We were supposed to drop I didn't realize it. I was supposed to drop the car off. And this is going to sound hilarious. I was actually talking to Matt, the service writer, where Carmen takes her car. But I actually pay to have the oil changed in the G6 because the place that we bought that from, if you buy the car from them, they'll do an oil change for life, $30 a whack.
Oh.
Well, I'm not going to... Yeah. The G6, I'd have to jack it up and all kinds of stuff, change the oil in it. I ain't screwing with that. And then it's $30 for the oil for me to go buy oil, even if I go to Walmart and buy it.
Yeah.
So it's like... So yeah, last night I was supposed to drop the car off. I totally spaced it. I come up here... I don't even know what time it was. Carmen said something. She's like, I guess we're not taking the car tonight, huh? I was like... Oh, crap. I was like, I never heard any more about it, so I honestly forgot. So me and Carmen got up this morning and took the car over to get it serviced, my car over to get serviced. Then when we got there, they were like, you're the first person here. If you want, just wait on it. So I wound up just sitting there and waiting on it. Talked to Matt for a little bit. You'd probably remember Matt. He used to work, when we were at the city, he worked at Gills.
Okay.
The guy with the ponytail.
Yeah, I'd have to see him, but
sounds
like somebody worked at Gills.
Yeah, you'd recognize him. Yeah. But so I sat in there and talked to him while I was waiting on the oil change. But
you got him smoking a pipe now?
No. I did get a text message from Mike this week.
Did you?
Yeah, it was Monday or Tuesday. He was out in his barn, had his corncob pipe in his mouth.
Oh.
He decided he was going to give it another go.
Well, that's good. It wasn't the plastic one, right? It's the one you got?
No, the plastic one's still here.
Okay. Need to burn that.
We're going to make fun of it some on a YouTube video first. I might even run it through the bandsaw.
There you go. Little cutaway project.
Yeah.
Nice.
But anyways, but yeah, and I tried something new today.
What's that?
I'll be curious to see. Obviously I have to do it more than once, but they got the red light therapy in at the gym.
Oh.
So I did my first round of red light therapy this morning. So it wasn't what I was expecting.
Were you expecting to come out of there just jacked and
able
to fly?
I expected it to. I was expecting it to be like a tanning bed type of thing. But I don't know why, I envisioned it doing it like a tanning bed. So like your whole body would get the red light.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's just your face.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it.
I hear all about it, and it was like, and when they were doing the updates at the gym that I go to, they were like, yeah, we're going to get red light therapy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, cool. And I went in there today because I've been over the winter, along with started taking some vitamins. Somebody suggested that I try tanning a little bit to see if that would help me with, because I've been having trouble with being tired. And somebody had made the comment maybe I needed to get more vitamin D and, be outside more. And I got to thinking about it. It was like, when I started getting tired was like last fall when the daylight hours that I had were very limited. And it's like, maybe that is it. So I started doing some vitamins and then I started tanning a couple days a week after I get done running or whatever and seeing if it would help. And when I went in there this morning, got done with my workout. And I thought, I don't have anything I got to get done. I was like, I'll go in there and lay in the tanning bed for a little bit. And it was a different tanning bed. And yeah, there's just two switches on it. One's for tan and one's for red light therapy, or you can run them both at the same time.
Oh yeah, really? Charge it up there.
Yeah. See what happens.
I'm curious about it. I've seen a lot about red light. I think Gary Brecka kind of brought that one into the limelight, but anything that guy said that I've tried, it works, and I think you got to be realistic about it, but it does, or the stuff he says does what it does. I'm really thinking about buying one of them hydrogen bottles.
Really?
Doing hydrogen water, yeah. We'll see.
It'll be interesting. Like I said, I don't know that it's helped me out with the vitamins and stuff. To me, I'm still as tired as and I'm going to be the first to admit, I'm in my mid-40s and I've been getting like 4 hours of sleep a night. I'm pretty sure I know why I'm tired. But I have noticed, I feel like I have more energy, if that makes any sense. And I feel like I recover a little faster.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Stop drinking them things.
I haven't. That's the weird part. I grabbed this because it was in the truck, and I drank nothing but water since Thursday.
Yeah.
So I was ready for. I needed something with a different taste than water.
Yeah.
So, and like I was telling you, I've been adding. This isn't really supposed to be a health podcast, but
it's not.
I was telling you earlier, I've been adding. Mainly, it's when I make my protein shake that I have for breakfast through the week. I've been using that alkaline water. Carmen's old boss, he'd gone through a bout with cancer, and that was one of the big things that they told him was to watch his pH level. And so like he checks he has the little pH strips like you'd use for pool water or whatever, and he just sticks them on his tongue and checks it, and then if it's high or low, then he, if his pH is too low, he'll drink like a V8 because the tomato juice will raise it.
Yeah.
And then if it's too high, he drinks the alkaline water. And me and him, one time when we were in there talking, I think we were picking up a rental one time when we were going on vacation or whatever. He said we were just chatting, and he was telling me about it, and he was like, well, have you ever checked yours? So we were checking mine, and ever since then, a couple times that we've checked it, mine's usually high.
Yeah.
So I thought, and it's about the right size, or the bottles I buy are the right amount of water for the, it's enough. I'll mix my protein shake, and then there's enough left over in it. I'll take my vitamins and my creatine in the morning with the leftover water, and I can drink my protein shake on the way into work. Because that's one thing I've been trying to do for quite some time. Is used to be like when you and I first met. The first thing I had to drink every morning was a Diet Mountain Dew or a Monster. And I try to make sure before I even have a glass or a cup of coffee, I try to make sure I have 12 to 16 ounces of water in me before I even drink anything else. So, and granted, it's usually it's just tap water here, but
yeah,
my well water's just fine.
I would say I don't know if they've figured out a way to hate well water yet.
Mine's not too bad to drink, so, and I've always been a preferred well water anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, very good.
But we've been hauling firewood. That's been good. Hauled 3 loads of oak, a little bit of hickory, shagbark hickory home. So I was complaining to Carmen this winter that I didn't have. I was like, we don't have much oak. I was like, we got a ton of cherry out there. I was like, we are really getting skinny on oak. I was like, we could probably make it through next winter, but I was like, if we burn up what's out there of the oak, I was like, we're out. And I got told about that wood. Been going over and cutting it after work, man. And it's like, I'm dead serious. I've been digging through that, kind of rummaging around trying to see what all's in there. And it's all been oak or hickory. Ton of white oak, too. Oak or hickory. I have found one piece of elm, and I was told that there's a stick of walnut in there, but I have yet to find it. I think somebody's not 100% sure what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So.
Wouldn't the guy who told you that have a sawmill?
Yeah, that's the funny part.
Yeah.
But he also unloaded it, so it may be at the bottom of the pile. I don't know.
Okay.
But there's still a lot there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and haul a couple more loads home this week.
Well, good deal. It's always nice. That was a nice thing about there was they'd murder at least 1 or 2 forests a year. And
yeah, that's the best part about working for a dirt company.
Yeah. You got a chance to get firewood.
if you burn wood, it's usually easily to obtain.
Yep.
So somebody told me they were taking out another wood somewhere. I don't know if it's for housing development or what, but there's some project we're working on. They're supposed to be taking out some more.
Yeah.
It's weird seeing them logs though with where the forestry head has just ground them off.
Yeah.
That is if you people don't know what we're talking about when we say a forestry head, Google a pecan. It is a gnarly looking thing.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, I've worked on a few of those. I mean, they'd have 6-cylinder Cummins in them.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit bigger than a skid loader.
Yeah.
And it was a small drive pump for the tracks and a big old nasty positive displacement piston pump for the head.
Yeah, they're a gnarly thing.
Oh yeah.
I've put a few teeth on them.
Yeah.
And I guess I've had to put holders on one of the skid steer ones that we have at work.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. So are you? You and I had we decided since we were going to get together not to publish it, but we were telling everybody
lost footage.
Yeah, and it may appear at some point. I don't know. But Mark and I have been wanting. We have some folks that we would like to have on the podcast, and one of them is actually fairly close to us and could come and do it in person. The problem is he's self-employed and has he doesn't know when not to work. So he's really hard to get a hold of, but he really has told us that he'd like to come on the podcast. So Mark and I got Zoom set up so we could start having some guests that were remote. And we were kind of joking because we've both have had Zoom in the past. We've both actually ran Zoom meetings. And
you won't believe us after this, what he says, but
it was unbelievable how much trouble. It's like Mark was kind of laughing at me. I was like, "Hey, we had an IT guy when I had to do this before."
Well, it was the email that's what was funny. Okay, what's your email? I'm staring at my email address right now, but
okay, what? But the thing is like the first time I put it in the address book. I don't think it was the way it looked. I thought I was sending you an invite, but then you never got an email.
Yeah,
and then I had everything going, waiting for you to get the invite or whatever, and you didn't have it. Yeah. And that's when I found another button, clicked on it, and it was like invite, and I was like, oh, so I redid your email address in there, and that's when you finally got the link.
But now it's just boink.
Yeah, now I just click on Mark and it will. Yeah. Yep. So at least now I know what to do. So yeah, the other night we did a kind of a trial run, just to make sure we can make it work. And really, I guess on my end, I wanted to make sure I knew how to poke all the buttons still. And then on top of that, I wanted to be able to see how the video would transfer into the software that I use to. I hate saying edit because I don't really edit. Yeah. What do I do? I add the.
It's still editing software though.
Yeah, it's editing software. It's where I put the intro and the outro and the music and all that stuff. Because generally, when we talk about editing, it's me chopping off the conversation that took place before I start. And generally, this thing stays recording because I forget to hit the stop button when we get done. So there's usually some before and after the podcast. Which, if anybody's interested in knowing what that's like, you can find it on YouTube and on Rumble in the video format. So,
them allergies are just horrible.
I told you I probably should have been smoking. Oh, it's yeah. If I get past the cough and the junk broke up in my chest, I think I'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't feel bad. Like my Tuesday and Wednesday, like I ran out of energy pretty quick. But that was when like everything was coming out of my head into my chest. And so Tuesday and Wednesday were not fun. Thursday, I could tell I was getting a little better. And yesterday was pretty good. With the exception of I was carbon arcing a bucket apart. And it was kind of smoky.
But yeah, the Zoom, I thought it went pretty well. Right up until the point my phone went dead. I was amazed that I wasn't. Maybe I was freezing up a lot more than I knew.
I don't ever remember you freezing up. Your video would be like really clear.
Yeah,
like it is on like one of your shorts. And then you would get kind of grainy.
Oh.
But when I played it back through, it didn't show up. I'm not going to lie, I didn't listen to the entire thing. I went back, just kind of spot checked. You know, I would watch for a couple minutes and I'd jump ahead like 5-10 minutes and watch for a couple minutes, jump ahead a little bit. But it worked out really well, so hopefully here in the very near future we'll be bringing some guests on, and I know we've got a couple that are, what do I want to say, waiting in the wings, if you will, that have said they want to do it and are interested in doing it. We just got to let them know, basically. So, and then the other reason we're doing that, I guess, is part of what we talked about. We'll kind of, if you don't mind, we'll rehash that a little bit, because we didn't say anything about it. There's another even bigger reason that we're going after or getting Zoom than just the fact that we wanted to be able to have guests on, and that's because in the very near future we're not going to be able to do this in person as much as we were, because somebody wants to be a shrimp boat captain.
It's not a shrimp boat, it's a ferry boat captain. Yeah. It's not even that, it's a deckhand position.
I know, but I always laugh because that's Chad always comes in. If he's at the shop, he comes in, he's like, Mark a shrimp boat captain yet?
Well, it's the way he talks too.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny. It's funny.
So there's been a lot going on with that whole thing. Even kind of at the beginning of this whole podcast series, you know, I've kind of hinted on that I'm looking for, I don't know, greener. I don't want to say greener pastures, but I'm just looking for a different pasture, and I'm gonna do both of them for right now. But yeah, we're actually right now I'm supposed to be at one of the new jobs. Within 3 hours of our vacation, I had a meeting with that HR department, and the agreement that we had on the availability I had became a problem, and it definitely was not. It was nobody's fault. Is this a bad situation, or is a weird situation that I kind of ended up being a? I hate the word victim. I was just a product of, and that was, I was hired in to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and everybody was great. The captain, the head captain was okay with that, and well, he ended up going and finding greener pastures. Well, the new captain that came in had his own guys, and he wasn't really good with that, and that's fine.
Yep, whatever.
But we were going to talk about that, and I'm like, well, hold on. This HR person's like, I got some. I want to put some feelers out. I'm gonna help you, and she did. She actually put some feelers out to some places I had applications into. The one place, it's Put-in-Bay, Ohio. So that's where I'm going. There's two. There's Jet Express and there's Miller, and there's Kelly Island Ferry Company, but they're not. I'm going to work for Miller. I accepted a job with them at the end of this week, and I'm a kind of, at first it's going to be on a part-time basis, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they really liked my mechanical background, something I'm trying to get away from, but at the same time, I don't think in a position like that I'm ever going to be able to fully get away with it or get away from it. But yeah, taking the long way around the barn,
and I think that for doing it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think that's going to be a better, for me, that would have been a better option anyways, because that's a 2.5 hour drive versus a 6 hour drive to Mackinac City.
Truck, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. It's weird the way it worked out, and I was real happy to go up north. I was excited for it. I went to this interview this week, and the owner of the company, it's him and his brother and their sister who own the company. The guy picks me up in his brand new Tahoe, and it has nothing to do with it being a brand new Tahoe. Dude smoking his Marlboros, out dragging signs. They could not pass a person he did not know. He gave me a tour of that island that you would probably cost the average person $1,000. Like it was just the weirdest stuff about the island. And it wasn't like,
oh, so you went over to the island.
Oh yeah, we were on the island. Their home. See, that's what's great about this, because you know, like, our love for the Great Lakes, our love for water, and all that. The thing with ferry companies is they always start on the mainland and go to the island. Not over there. They start from the island, come to. They want you to live on the island. He took me around it, showed me where he was born, showed me where the Miller family, where they were born. He was telling me about their competitors and telling me, like, the real good stuff they do, and like this dude just knew it. He's on the school board. I think he's probably the mayor. Like this guy, it'd be like talking to us about something we were passionate about, and he's just passionate about this company. He's like, he told me, he's like, I got a 34-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 9-year-old. And he had, he'd been divorced and whatnot, but showing me his nephews work there. And, you work for a family-run company.
Yeah.
They are great until they aren't.
Yeah.
And all I mean by that, usually the only thing that makes you mad at the family-run company is the family. And it's like, we're hiring Cousin Jeb to come out here and be your boss.
Right.
But yeah, so after the interview, as a mechanic, not to sound arrogant or anything, if I go to an interview as a mechanic, I know I'm getting the job. I have the experience. Anybody else that would have more experience than me, I know, and or they're from out of state, but I know them and I'd know if they're interviewing or not.
Right.
I left there like I called you all giddy, just like, I hope they hire me. I hope this could be it. Like this is something different. And it was, yeah, he called me the following day, because he actually made me the job offer when I was leaving. I didn't know. He called me the following day. We talked about a few things, and I just asked him, I'm like, so do I have the offer? He said, oh yeah. I offered it to you yesterday. Like, I kind of thought so, but I wasn't sure. And, I think it's going to be a really cool thing. Fingers crossed, because right now it's part-time. He gave me the option to do full-time. I shouldn't even really be talking about that, just because being in a union and everything, but it's not anything that the operating engineers do.
Right.
And I actually do have permission from our BA to go do this stuff, but I got some things to sort out still there. That's the end goal, but like, my timing in life with everything is horrible. I'm within months on a government pension. I will be within a year-ish, 2. I'm a year ahead of you on the union pension. Now, at 5 years is just no different than where I would be with the government one. It's not going to be anything. And that's also, you can't pull your retirement until like 70.
Yeah.
But
your union one, it'd still be like, I think after 5 years, it's still, well, I don't know what it'd be after taxes. It's probably still like $900 a month.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're probably
it's not much.
Grand area. But the way, like, my PERF, my public employee retirement fund, I always looked at that. I want to finish that out for one reason. That right there guarantees we always have a brand new vehicle.
It's okay. It's funny you say that. That's what Dad always did.
Yeah.
Because Dad was, when he worked at the mine, and I never thought about it till I started working in the union. But Dad was a teamster at the mine. He wasn't operating engineers, which I find bizarre. But yeah, they were all teamsters at that mine.
Well, they have to be operators because there was no advantage. Like they want operating engineers on road jobs because they don't say you got to be union. They say you got to have an apprentice program. And like the mines, they're probably just something in there. It's like, we want you to be union, so the union companies use you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so when that stuff all went sideways, back then I think Dad had to have 20 years in before he could get his, like, it would go to I'll say a normal retirement amount. He was vested at 5 or 10 years, but like you had to have 20 years until it paid something.
Yeah.
Well, when they closed or sold it and pretty much canned everybody that worked there, Dad was like months shy of his 20 years.
Yeah.
And so he kind of got hosed.
He got hosed.
There's no kind of. I was trying to be polite. But yeah, he got hornswoggled is what he got. But he still got that Teamsters pension. And that was Dad. If Dad bought a car, that's what paid for a car.
Yeah.
And it was usually what he would put back into his slush fund for when he wanted to go do stuff that was
against your mom's wishes.
All off the books, if you will. It come in handy because my dad was the one that always paid all the bills and took care of all the finances of the household, all that stuff. And when Dad died, that was the first thing my mom was like, other than writing a check or using this credit card that I buy groceries with every week, she's like, I have no idea. And she was like, I have this much cash. And she was like, wasn't. And part of it was she, there was a lot going on trying to figure all that stuff out. But I remember I was like, hang on a second. And I went downstairs and opened the gun safe. And I walked back up and I handed her a check box full of cash. I was like, she's like, what's this? I says, that's gun show money.
Dad was hiding that from you.
I says, I knew it was there because anytime we go to a gun show, Dad would go downstairs, open the safe, and open that box.
and that, me and my brother-in-law Kurt, we talk retirement probably 2 times a week. And he's a 401k guy. He's always put at least the minimum. He's probably always he's always put at least the minimum and a little bit extra, but he's worked for the same place since 2000. Like he's one of the last. He's my age. Mm-hmm. He's worked for. Well, he's worked for 2 companies in that many years, and I've worked for 20. But anyways, what I was going at, like, pensions are great as long as it's a qualified pension that the government has their hand in. And I'm not saying it's great for the government to bail them out. It's great because they're not taking super crazy risks. Like we see that it's like. It'll probably be an operating engineer listening. It's like hundreds of billions of dollars, or it is at least like 50 billion or something.
Well, I remember
management.
That was one of the things they kind of bragged on when I joined. When I joined the union, they were talking like, Oh, because I had a lot of questions about pension because I watched my dad get hornswoggled, and I flat told the BA when I was there, I was like, this is the part that makes me nervous. And I remember he was stating that, like, our pensions, like, funded at, like, 104%. And I'm like, how is it funded at 104%? Well, then I started working with you at that particular company. It was like, oh, I know how because these people work till they're dead and they never draw their pension.
and it works great. The thing that scares me the most about that pension, the way it works, is the Teamsters were the first ones where you retired and you got a pay raise. And your boss, and I know there's not a lot like your boss, but right now there's probably just as many people who graduated high school like Kurt and got into the operators union. And they're going to retire. They're going to make $10,000 plus a month. Pensions don't survive. They don't survive that because, like me, you look at me, I don't know. In the 103, I want to say there's like 40,000 in there in that part. But see, like, you guys get that. I wasn't in the 103 long enough to be vested. So I just donated that money to you.
Yeah.
But I didn't donate the time is the important part. And I'm not 100% sure how it works with that, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But now, oh gosh, it just left my head. But you got people like, well, I know where I was going. 30, 40, 50 grand. Let's just say $60,000 in there.
Yeah.
I'll even say 70. That's not enough money in there for me to be able to get $1,000 a month. And that's where I would have been. At 5 years, I'd have been at $1,000 a month. Now, and I know there's probably some operators out there. You got to remember, I was a field mechanic for one of the busiest excavating companies in northern Indiana. 12-hour days were what we worked a lot of the time.
Yep.
We're anomalies. Mechanics, welders, we're anomalies.
I was gonna say, I worked more hours last year than I've ever worked in my entire life.
Yep. And
and I took more days off of work last year than I've ever taken off.
And the pension's set up for people that work 7 to 9 months a year. When you work 12 months, it's odd, but the problem is there's a lot of people coming in their 50s, and that's not the issue. The issue is if they're in their 50s, they're going to work for 15 years, they're going to retire with full pension, and that's going to put the stress. Now, do I think?
Man, but see, it still won't matter because it still gets based off of your hours that you worked.
Yeah, and pensions are great. I'm by no means. I love a pension because I don't care. I know some people say, "Oh, I got $1 million in there." Your boss probably got north of $1 million in there. And they're all excited about that. I got $1 million in there. I don't care. I know that when I retire, I'm gonna get X amount, and when I die, it's gonna get watered down to 70% of that. My wife gets that. The biggest crock to me.
Well, and you can choose that though.
Oh yeah, you can choose how that works.
Because I told Carmen when it comes time to do that, I was like, what we're gonna do is, when we get closer, is we're going to figure out if it's better for us to do a 60-40 split.
Or you can do like 80-80 or something, or is it 70-70? Where whatever you get, you take the hit up front, but it never changes after that.
Well, the thing I want to do is, depending on how things are at the time I retire from the union, what I'm going to do is look if it's more beneficial for me to pull 100% of it, and then if when something happens to me, Carmen not get any more of it. But if I just don't see me and Carmen needing that. Plus, with Carmen's retirement, I just don't see us needing that kind of money. So if I told Carmen if we would utilize her retirement to live on and then reinvest a sizable portion of mine, I want to see if we can do the math on the front end to see which, I guess is what I'm getting at, is to see which would work out for us to gamble on how long I'll be around to pull 100% and reinvest a chunk of that, versus doing a split on it, or like you were saying, taking the hit and then it just be an
even amount.
Yeah,
and pensions,
that'll be something that we'll go to the accountant and say, here's my
pensions are the only thing like that though that they're great. Like 401ks, the company match 401k at work, it to me is just a crock. I ain't doing that. We have money just pulled out of our checking account every week. It goes into our brokerage account. Then our brokerage account can't, since we manage our own, we can't make it automatically buy. And that's silly anyways, because just like I waited. I didn't buy last Friday. I bought Monday. And we buy, it's called QQQ. It's a derivative S&P. It's just S&P more condensed. It's cheaper. But we bought in the dip. And it was I was not planning on it. I just knew that's when the tariffs were hitting. And every time there's any news, we're in this for a long run. So anytime there's any news, it scares everybody. Stuff gets cheap.
Yep.
And stuff got cheap. We ended up getting, I don't know, 10 shares. If we would normally get 30, we got 40. But that's I tell Kurt that, and I tell anybody to listen. And I'm definitely not a financial person anyone should ever listen to. My whole thought is when I'm 55 years old and something terrible happens, I can go to that brokerage account, pull money out. Yep, I got to pay tax on it. I get that. I understand it. But I pay a tax guy, just like you pay a tax person. I want people to pay me because I'm a mechanic. You want people to pay you because you're a welder, because we just do it better.
Yeah.
Yes, you can learn how to weld on YouTube, but you can't refine it. You can learn how to change your intake on YouTube, but I change your intake. It's going to last. And it's a guarantee it's going to last. But that is.
Yeah, you got somebody backing it up.
I have somebody there that's going to say, when we pull it out, we're going to pull it out like this. We're going to do this, and that. Because I can take my whole retirement, I can take my whole brokerage account right before I get retired, and I can throw it into a retirement account if there's any tax shielding from that. Right. It's just money. Now, the whole unrealized gains, and we don't, and by no means do I have a lot of money in there. I have enough, but I don't have enough. No one's ever got enough, I guess. But there's enough money in there to worry about it. But when they were talking about unrealized gains, that killed me. It's like your house would. But that's what I've been preaching to Kurt, and my mom preached it to me. She's doing just fine. It's have a financial person, and
that's the one thing I think I learned that from the guy that was my boss when I first started at the fuel shop, because he was pretty good at that sort of stuff. And he says the place most people make a mistake is they get excited and they flip out.
Yep.
Knee-jerk reactions. He's like, that's how you lose money in the stock market.
Oh yeah.
And he was a guy, I mean, you go in there and he'd be doing warranties or whatever, but he had the thing scrolling across the bottom of his screen all day.
I can't.
Well, but he would, I think he day traded some.
Oh.
So he would, if he's seen something and he'd been watching it, for a week, a month or whatever, and it's like, especially on newer stuff, it's like, this might be good and I can buy it pretty inexpensive. I'll throw, and it may, I don't even know what kind of money he was playing with. I mean, he might have been buying $100 worth of this particular stock. It wasn't much, but he just always kept an eye on stuff, and he would watch for trends and stuff, and he would, I think this one's going someplace. I'm going to buy it now. It's been kind of growing and jump on it, but he was the first one to tell you when stuff goes sideways, he says, leave it alone. Walk away. Homer always said that too. Like, no knee-jerk reactions. He's like, it's gonna like make you sick to your stomach some days. He was like, I've seen some fluctuations, and I'm just thinking, I just lost a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then he's like, But, he's like, it might take it a year or two, but he says, I always recovered.
Yeah, because you don't lose anything until you sell.
Yep.
And you remember remember we were working at RPM during COVID.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stock market kind of tanked. But you remember when Ford was down and everybody's like, man, I should have put $1,000 in. And they come out and they're like, if you'd have put $1,000 in Ford, you'd be. Well, COVID hit, and I'm like, that's when I got our brokerage account. Yeah. And I was trading, and I just started watching medical marijuana. I don't know why, but I just started watching medical marijuana.
I remember that.
I was trading this company. I'd buy it at 40 cents. I'd buy it on a Monday at 40. I'd sell it on a Thursday at like 53. It's not much, but we were doing about 10,000 worth. We went to buy a lake house, and my banker's just like, that is driving the underwriter crazy. Just take the money out of there because your assets change. So we took the money out, bought the lake house, and I would have never made this money. But like a month or two later, I went to get back in, and we were buying it at like 30 or 50 cents, whatever it was. Went to get back in, the stuff was like $16 a share, and we calculated it out. It's like it was like $100,000 or so we could have made. And but now you got to remember, I would have sold it so much sooner. I would have never had it to that point. Just like Bitcoin. I wish I'd have got in on Bitcoin, brother. We'd have both sold. But that's this QQQ. Nope, that is long term. I like it because it never it goes up very so slightly.
And Bitcoin impresses me, hearing what Bitcoin's worth. But when I started talking or hearing people say, "Oh, well, I own a third of a Bitcoin," I'm like, or 0.0012 of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
No, that's the part that bugs me on Bitcoin.
And the problem is, though, it's like
I still think it's make believe money.
Yeah, and that's the issue though. We could make. I don't understand what it is. I know it's computers doing equations. Is that how they get them or something? But anybody can make them. It's just like the Hawk Tui girl made her. I think it's a meme coin. So if that's something different, correct me. I like the idea. I love the way you think about Bitcoin because if Bitcoin moves with the market's high, Bitcoin's high, market's low, Bitcoin's low. But I go to the store to buy bread, and it's like, because the store reacts. Your bread goes up, your bread goes down. That's like Walmart is going to digital. They're not doing that to save the environment. They're doing that so they can have peak demand pricing. But and they might say, "Oh, we're only going to change it once a day." That's fine, but your dollar doesn't change. When our dollar's doing real strong, nothing changes for that. And the Bitcoin would. It's like, oh, my Bitcoin is worth more now, so it buys me more.
I don't mind if they do that, but I think if you're going to do that, I think companies should allow you to contract. Yeah. Like I do propane.
And the thing is, though, with Bitcoin, and I know we're not on the gold standard. I understand that, but the military is backing our dollar. I can hold my dollar in my hand. And at the end
of I know there's some crazy dude sitting on the top of a Humvee with a 50 cal in his hand saying, "Yep, that's worth $1."
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that is.
You wanted to call me a liar?
And that's the problem with digital currency. I get all the benefits from it. I'm okay. Not. I don't want to break off a little piece of silver and do whatever. So you remember we always used to buy those storage units.
Yeah.
Like the best one we ever bought is still paying us because it had a whole bunch of change in it. And Katie just threw it in threw it in the safe. It's like, because some of it was mint stuff, it was sealed.
Yeah.
We went through there. It's all silver dollars. So there's a few silver quarters, but Katie just did one of those apps where you scan it. Some of it is minted silver dollars, and it's like we have a few pieces that are a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, gee whiz. But I'd like to start buying silver. Like, Mom's got a bunch of Grandpa's silver, and I was
that was the one thing I was into for a while, and I need to get back into
it. And just buy it and teach your kids. Like, you can do whatever you want with this, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to sell. But it's money sitting there. Like something happens.
Yeah.
It's
well,
money
and not
there.
only that, that one He's a finance entrepreneur guy. Asian.
Don't say Dave Ramsey.
No, he's an Asian dude.
Oh, which Rich Dad Poor Dad or the other
Rich
guy,
Dad
the
Poor
finance
Dad.
guy? Yeah, okay.
But that was, I think he was one of the ones that's talking about. He was like, I'm buying more silver than gold. And they're like, well, why would you do that? It's not worth as much as gold. He's like, because they use silver in a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not just for the financial value, like money value of it. He's like, commodity wise, because they use silver in so much stuff.
You can go to Costco and get that .9999 silver, and they're selling it to Costco members below, and it's just I think they sell it to you at cost, at scrap or melt weight.
Yeah.
But you get a free deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Mom, you need to do it. And unfortunately, she's went there and she's been doing it as much as a letter.
Mm-hmm.
She won't give it. I don't want to say she won't give it to me. She won't sell it to me. She's like, oh no, you know where it's at. I don't want it to be in your safe. I want it to be in my safe. Because I got.
Why didn't you go to Costco and do it?
I don't have a membership.
I thought you guys had the Costco.
No, I pay for my mom's. I am not stupid. That is her Christmas gift that I use. That is why yeah. I actually need to go there because meat's out of control and Costco steaks aren't all that great, but a Costco ribeye is still better than a, New York strip from Walmart. I got the Walmart cheaper ribeyes today.
Did you?
It's
you didn't go.
Dude,
up
they're
to
still $15 a pound.
You didn't go up to our friends
No,
in
I did.
Leesburg?
I went there and got ground beef. I got a Leesburg ribeye Friday. It was gonna just be me because I don't know what the girls were all doing something. So I went there, got a ribeye, and come home, cooked it.
How much were they at there?
$21 a pound.
Oh yeah, they have gone up
$17 a pound at Walmart. Walmart's ribeyes were better. That's just me, man. But they're what I look for in a ribeye. So yeah, and see, I don't know about you, but I only do my ribeyes on the Blackstone. I don't.
I didn't even know you had a Blackstone.
Oh yeah, you got one? Don't you have one?
No.
Oh, you're not.
We've been discussing it though.
They got these boxes. They're like seared things for searing steaks. Thought about it, like they're propane powered, but
now, well, and see what we would do in that case. Like if we were gonna do something like that, because we're back to using, with the exception of like boiling pasta and stuff like that. If we're using a skillet, it's cast iron.
Yeah.
It sounds funny. As much cast iron as I own, we still went and bought more stuff because all my stuff was what me and Carmen originally had when we camped. Because we cooked everything on the fire, so it got cooked on a cast iron skillet or got cooked in a Dutch oven. So all of our skillets were really big, and I just in the last few months finally started buying some normal, because we're getting to the point it's down to me and Carmen here at the house.
Yeah.
So I don't need a 14-inch cast iron skillet to cook supper in every night. And I was getting tired of not being able to. I didn't want to have to walk across the yard to the annex so I could cook eggs in the morning. So when we were at, I took the girls shopping here a while back. We went down to Noblesville for lunch, and I guess I went over to Cabela's and bought a couple more Lodge skillets. So
yeah, a good place to go get cast iron? TJ Maxx.
Honestly, my favorite place to get it is in Sevierville, Tennessee, and I just go to the Lodge outlet store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I love going in there. They have all kinds of cool stuff. That's, in all honesty, that's where 90% of Carmen and I's cast iron, with the exception of stuff we inherited. But
yeah, next time we talk about vacations and all that, I'm putting my phone in the other room because that's all I have is Smoky Mountain cabins and Gatlinburg places, things to do.
I'm looking forward to going again this year.
You guys are you're going with all your buddies, right?
Yeah, we're doing Friendsgiving down there this year.
Aren't you doing it in like July or something?
No. No, we're doing it. We're still doing it in November like we normally do. It's a week different than normal.
And you're renting a lodge, though.
Yeah, we rented a house.
No,
we rented a house like in town. Like we're
Gatlinburg?
gonna be. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're like.
Are you on the hill?
So you know where the space? We're straight up from the Space Needle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be able to point it out to me.
So yeah, we're staying straight up from the Space Needle, but it's not the road that the Space Needle's on. It's one block the other direction. Or one the next road prior, if you're coming in from Sevierville or from Pigeon Forge. Okay.
I sent Bob a picture from my hotel room. I knew I figured he did. He knew exactly what hotel I was sitting in because he's been to Gatlinburg so many times. I might not be at the right angle.
You're not. You're close. Well, technically, you're at the right angle. It's behind where you're at.
Oh, okay.
You're facing the wrong direction.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, the house that we rented is behind where you're at.
You ever done those chairlifts? I'm sorry.
Not since they did not since it's what it is now.
Oh.
When I did that years ago, that building that's at the top, that was just like a little gift shop, and you could get like a candy bar and a Coke, and there was like an overlook and them things you put 50 cents in and spy around the place and all that jazz. I have not been up there since they put the Sky Bridge in.
Okay.
I think Carmen has. I'll be honest, I won't do it because I'm not going to stand in line to do it.
I don't blame you.
Carmen and I figured out that if you wanted to do it, the one time we were down there, it was like, you need to buy a ticket and then be there first thing in the morning. And then it wasn't too bad. But even then it depends on the, not to sound mean, but it depends on the age of the majority of the people there.
Yeah.
'Cause like one of the first times we went down there for Christmas, I told Carmen, she was like, what do you want to do? I was like, one morning, I was like, I know you guys want to sleep in and do all that sort of stuff, but I says, one morning you guys have to be up and we have to be out of here by 6:30. Like, for what? I was like, I'm going to the Log Cabin Pancake Place for breakfast.
That's the busy one, right?
No, that's the one that would have been right up the hill from the Space Needle.
Okay.
The one you walk past is a pancake pantry. And it's good. It's just, to me, it's not. It's breakfast food I can buy any place.
Yeah.
I go to the Log Cabin Pancake Place because they have something that is really, really good. And it's like the only place I know of to go and get them. And that's buckwheat pancakes. I love buckwheat pancakes. And they taste just like the ones my grandma made. And so I go there and I get buckwheat pancakes, a few eggs, and some sausage. And hot maple syrup. Oh, it's delicious. Anyways. And the girls are like, why do we have to get up so early? I was like, if we're not there by 6:30, 6:45, they open at 7. I was like, it's going to take us 45 minutes to wait in line to get inside. It's cold outside. I'm not standing in a line to get into a restaurant. And they were like, they just thought I was nuts. Well, one morning we got up and we went up there, rolled up. We had to wait for them to open the door. We were the second family through the door. Carmen says, I thought you said this place would be busy. Well, so I started watching. And what it is if you go, when you're down there, if the majority of the people are our age and older, you got to be there at 6:30. And I've been down there on one of my motorcycle trips. I was staying in Gatlinburg instead of staying in Bryson City. And I got up to go to breakfast. I got there at 6:30, and they were lined up clear across the porch at this place. Like, I'm like, and they don't open for a half hour, and there's 50 people standing in line to get in already. I'm like, nope, screw that. I went to Cherokee for breakfast that morning. But anyway, but if they're our age and younger is the majority of the people there, as long as you're up and out by 10, you're good.
Okay.
And it's really weird how it's changed. The problem is you don't know till you get there.
So, I know you're doing the Friendsgiving. Are you still going to do your winter trip? Or your cold weather trip?
No, we're actually staying home for Christmas.
You're around here for Christmas?
Yeah.
So I can expect your family to be over Christmas caroling?
Sure. If you understand our idea of Christmas caroling is we're going to shoot around your house. We won't shoot your house, but we'll be in your front yard.
That's all right. That's all right. No, that is that's pretty neat though. You guys, as long as you've been going down there,
I haven't said anything to Carmen's always wanted to go for New Year's.
Yeah.
I might see if I can still get a hotel room, and maybe me and Carmen will go for the New Year's.
What about Texas? Is that happening?
I don't know. The girls haven't said any more about it. And I'll be honest, I don't want to sound like a cheapskate, but I don't want to pay for plane tickets.
Well, you got a lot of trips, though. I mean, you're going to do a few bike trips, aren't you?
Actually, we're going to, I think most of the bike trips this year are going to stay a little closer to home. We are going to go to Kentucky and ride one weekend. I'm not sure when that's going to be. Probably around Labor Day, I think is when we're talking about doing that trip. And we're actually going to, originally we were going to ride down there, and we were going to stay at Brandon's, some of his family's place, and camp at their place. And Brandon's dad, Jerry, he's going to go with us, so we're going to trailer the bikes down.
Okay.
So I might, if we do that, I might take the green bike. I'm going to wait and see what bike Brandon takes, and that'll determine what I take. But basically, we're going to call Brandon's uncle's place home base, and that way Jerry and Rodney can go do whatever in the heck they want and visit, and me and Brandon are just going to go cruise around East Kentucky.
Now, I might be getting it mixed up. Didn't you want to go out west?
Yes, we're still planning on that.
Well, that's a big one.
Yes, because when we do the out west trip, we're planning on taking 2 or 3 weeks off of work.
Ooh. I ain't gonna let you do that.
Huh?
I ain't gonna let you do that.
I think I can get 2. I told Brandon I knew that I couldn't do 3, but Brandon wanted to go for a month. I was like, "There's no way."
Because if you're busy, he's busy.
I know, but
cool.
But I think I could do 2 weeks if I give enough notice.
Yeah.
So, and if we do it at the right time of year. But that's the bad part, is going where we want to go. It's not a good time for us to go.
A trip like that, the thing that would scare me is a 2-week trip on bikes. You're driving through a storm.
So?
I said scare me. I didn't say scare you. I just
won't be the first time.
That's why I don't drive motorcycle.
The first time I went to Tennessee and rode down around through the Smokies, Gatlinburg, over around Waynesville and Maggie Valley and all the places down there, rode Tail of the Dragon, all that stuff. The first time I went and did that trip, started out solo, ran into Brandon down there. When I left here, I left on a Thursday morning. I made it to Greencastle. Is that right? Or Newcastle. Sorry, Newcastle. I made it to Newcastle, Indiana. And it started sprinkling. And it rained from Newcastle all the way to exit 407.
Wow.
It was miserable. I rode close to 400 miles that day in the rain.
Damn. Yeah, see, I don't want to do
And when
that.
I was on 40, going from Knoxville to Kodak, where you get off to go into Sevierville, or where you would have got on to 40 to come home. When I was on that stretch of 40, there was standing water on 40. It was raining so hard. Like I was on the highway and the traffic was running like 30 mile an hour on 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going to dive this morning, way off subject, but going to dive this morning, I looked at Katie and I says, you know what I miss about Florida? It is not 90-degree weather, any of that. They had leaves. They had leaves on their trees. And that was the most depressing part of coming back up here.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're lucky, though, because there's the green hewn is starting to be out there. It's starting to, you can't see through the tops of the trees anymore. We're close, and we got the temperatures this week, I think.
I was talking to my brother before you got here, and heck, he said he's already mowed like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, but...
And that's only... What, 2.5 hours south?
He lives in an addition. He loves the bow. He's got his New Balance shoes, and he goes out. I'm going to have to watch out next time he's around. He's going to come kick me right in the crotch.
Probably deserve it.
Yeah, good chance.
God.
No, that was that is. I love the diving down there, but I just like the leaves on the trees. It was such a better mood.
I don't know what it was about this year. This was like the most depressing winter ever.
We didn't get no snow. Florida got more snow than we did.
Yeah.
I mean, they all got more snow than we did.
Everybody got more snow than us up here.
We are in the spot. That's like my house, probably 2 miles south of my house is that line. Like, you get it. But it's the lake effect. Like, if
you ever watch, I'm dead serious.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Everybody get your tinfoil hats out.
If you ever watch when they show how, like, especially snow, if you ever watch how it comes across on the radar, when it gets between Plymouth and Warsaw, I'm dead serious. If you ever watch, it splits. I don't know why.
Right,
I swear up and down it's because Kosciuszko County is so low.
But that is could be scientifically proven. Yeah, I'm like
it is just
in Fort
weird.
Wayne. They say we always had this 469's what stopped the snow. Yeah,
you people are dumb.
They are dumb. But this year we didn't get much of snow. I don't even mind a super cold, like, and I work out in the crap. Like, let it get super cold, but we only got
I
a
don't
few
want it
days
to
of
get
that.
super cold. I'd rather work outside when it's 100 than I would when it's 20.
Yeah. It's circumstances for me with all of them. I still got to order my welder umbrella.
I still got your rainbow one.
Yeah, you could have it.
Well, that's good. It's the only one that's left.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured.
Imagine that. All the solid colored umbrellas are.
That's why I took
dead.
that rainbow one, because I knew nobody'd take it.
It's the only one left. Oh, the other ones have all been folded inside out.
Well, they
I
all
built
came out of the trash.
I built a base for the ones that we had at the shop.
Yeah.
And I was out. What was I doing? I was welding something in a wheel loader last year. And this base weighs like 40 pounds. Right? I mean, it's got a pretty good hunk of steel on. I bet it weighs more than that, because it's got a pretty serious piece of 1-inch plate on the bottom of it. and I am dead serious, it flipped it jerked that thing off the ground out in front of the shop. I mean, I got nervous about it hitting the loader and like knocking glass out of it.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, I was out there stuffed in the articulation joint welding. What was I doing? I was welding a
probably carrier bearing.
Carrier bearing. Carrier bearing mounts. But yeah, I was out there doing that, and that thing, I couldn't believe it pulled that off the ground because I had it, because it's a piece of plate with a tube welded to it, and it, like, what is that, a 3/8 bolt that locks on the umbrella?
You were trying to tell me a bolt doing that?
I was trying to do this.
You weren't doing that, though.
Whatever.
You were, like, giving me a signal. This is bolt. I get that one.
You understood that one plain, didn't you?
I understood that one. Yeah, that's...
So, we'll probably get our YouTube video will probably get banned because they'll see that on the video. They haven't taken us down for
I could
swearing.
be breastfeeding and it's okay, but I can't flick somebody off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's great. And you know how I know that?
Chad.
Yeah.
The guy can't
I love
see
that guy.
to tie his shoes.
He could find a side boob better than anyone. he would, when we would be out at bio, he'd come up to me like, you hear about so and so, and I'm like, I don't even know who that is. That's a movie star. Got naked pictures. Like, oh really? Yeah. Then he'd come back, and yeah, it's like, Chad, I've seen you like run into stuff, and you, how'd you do this? But
yeah, he can see that just fine.
Oh yeah, there's no problem there.
Cracks me up. Oh. Yeah, I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, that's about all I got. I think we've got off subject far enough.
I still haven't figured out how we got on to pensions.
I don't know. We was talking about boating and. Hey, I want to ask our 3 audience listeners though, if anybody knows anything about mountain bikes. I'm looking to buy a mountain bike. And
yeah, I can't wait to see this.
Whatever.
What are you going to ride a mountain bike in? Your jeans and your work boots?
And?
You
can't ride a mountain bike in jeans and work boots? What do you got on?
Jeans and work boots. But I've been outside cutting wood.
I ain't been riding a mountain bike. I'll get the unitard and all that stuff.
This is gonna be pricey.
I ain't getting
I'm gonna follow you around and videotape this stuff. I'll have every trending video on the interwebs.
Yeah, you probably will. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be hillbilly. It's a possum in a mountain bike and squares.
It'll look like
with
Cousin Eddie riding a mountain bike.
No, I don't have a robe. Every time you talk Cousin Eddie, so
you hear that he says, "I don't have a robe." That means he will be in a leisure suit.
Yeah. Okay, you find me that leisure suit, not the costume one. I will pay an amount of money that could get me divorced for that leisure suit. I keep, like, my wife thinks, she's like, I just like to go somewhere nice where you got to dress up. I would love that. Like, yeah, I'd want to go to shows. I have no problem with, I am a hillbilly, but I don't mind getting dressed up, but I'm not getting dressed up just for the sake of getting dressed up. Like, you get gussied up, go to church.
Yeah.
I'd go to some stuff with her, and
the girls think I'm crazy because I've actually been looking at buying a suit.
Tomorrow's Palm Sunday.
Yeah.
Same thing for you guys, right? I mean, I'm just not trying to be arrogant, but
no, Palm Sunday's Palm Sunday for all Christians.
Okay.
It don't matter if you're Catholic, Lutheran, Protestant.
You know what my TikTok's been full of is how to get your house ready for Passover for the Jews.
Yeah.
And it's really that is so cool. Like, they don't use aluminum foil, they use silver foil. And like, they are boiling everything. Because is it Passover with the Jew? This is really off subject. But is it Passover where you got to have the boy that turns your lights on and off
So, modern technology, they don't necessarily have to do that. Because Ben Shapiro talks about that.
I'd love to hear it from him.
Because, like, they have stuff that automatically turns the, like, because I don't remember all of it, but I remember listening to him talk about it for one of their, I don't think it was Passover, it was for one of their other religious holidays where it's the same deal. But he talked about that.
Is it Christmas? Because
I don't. Hanukkah. No, this was. Christmas. It's whatever they go when he was. I don't know. I'd have to.
It's just gonna be offensive if you finish the sentence. So.
Yeah, well, and I don't know enough about it to even like attempt to say it, but I just remember him because I thought it was interesting. You know how I am. I like hearing people's traditions.
Oh yeah. The Jews, they got some pretty cool stuff. It's interesting stuff they do.
I mean, you do grasp the Palm Sunday and all that stuff. That was why they were going where they were going, was to celebrate Passover.
Yeah.
That was the Last Supper.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure you were paying attention.
Like 8 years of Catholic school.
Okay.
I got a few things up here. Not many. A few.
I was just making sure you were paying attention back then.
I will say all of our religion classes, I think my answer would be more like Jesus. It got me through. But no, I'm definitely not saying that in like a whatever way. I'm saying that as an idiot. I'm not sure
that my fasting on Fridays is. I've stuck to it all of Lent, but
yeah.
I guess what I was thinking of is I learned some things doing it, but I don't think I got the. I don't think I got the full effect out of it that I was. I don't know.
Maybe you need to fast longer.
I might do it again next year. The trouble, I don't think I used the time as well as I should have, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I got to get better at that.
Like the time when you're fasting?
Yeah.
It's because you're at work. You never use time like you should at work.
I think that's a lot of it. Because like in the evenings and stuff, I do pretty good.
So like tomorrow being Palm Sunday, you going to do communion? Or are you going to wait for next week?
Actually, I think we do communion tomorrow.
Okay.
Because our church, this is something I've struggled with. Our church only does communion quarterly.
Yeah.
And it bothers me. That's because you're Catholic.
They do it every like we'll do it
well, and see, and I grew up in I grew up in a Protestant church, and we did communion every Sunday.
Yeah.
But that's when I moved up here. A lot of the Protestant churches do it like monthly or quarterly. But we do a threefold communion, so ours isn't like brief. Like communion takes us about an hour.
Not good deal.
So it's interesting. I think it freaks people out when the first time they ever see it.
Yeah.
Because it's basically doing the same thing that took place at the Last Supper. So that like they do the washing of the feet. We do communion, and we have. I know it sounds weird. It's not actually as
like
weird.
You wash each other's feet.
So you stick your foot in a
I'm listening. I'm just making a weird face.
Yes, you are. You stick your foot in a pan of warm water, and then somebody else goes and just folds the water.
See, I'm real ticklish.
Nobody touches your foot.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
You see, just put it in water.
Yeah, you stick your foot in this pan of water, and then the other person takes their hands, and they just kind of splash, for the lack of better description, the water over your foot. And then
never knew that.
Then they do the other one. Yeah, because it's not like you're putting. It's like a dishpan, so it's not like you're sticking both your feet in there. It's not like they got a scrub brush out.
You ever have ringworm outbreaks?
No, because each time it's fresh water each time.
I'm with you. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. I should have said that part up front.
I should have been smarter.
But it's just, I still think it's weird that we only do it quarterly.
Take it up with the elders.
I asked the pastor about it. I says, I think it's a little odd. And he's like, show me in the Bible where it tells me how many times a year you're supposed to do it.
Show me where it says quarterly is all you need to do it.
That was kind of my thought, but and he had actually told me, he's like, he says, I've thought about doing it more often, but
yeah,
I don't know. I would like to at least see it done. Well, my grandparents, when we used to come up here to Ridinger, where the 4-H extension office is, that used to be a church. You can probably notice that by the front of it, right?
Yeah.
So my granddad was an honorary deacon at that church, because that was the church that Grandma and Grandpa went to when they were up here. And Grandpa was a deacon at their home church. And but that was like what it was, is I think they did it monthly or bi-weekly. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of anybody doing that, because I remember as a kid thinking, well, that's odd. But it was because it was just, we did. It was, and that's, I think that's funny, and I think that's part of the reason I have the thoughts, I get stuck on this whole Catholic Protestant thing, and I've got nothing. I get upset because it seems like there's this battle between Catholics and Protestants, and well, we're holier, we're the older, the older church, blah blah blah. I still think Jesus is. This is just my personal opinion, so bear with me. And I'm sorry, this is going off on a religious tangent, but my thought is the church that Jesus started was Christianity. I don't care what you want to call it, because when it boils right down to it, everything we do is pretty much, I mean, there's not you and I've talked about it a lot. There's a whole lot of stuff that we do at church that's pretty similar when you did go. And it's like, so there are some traditions that are different, but when it comes right down to what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do,
yeah,
it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, we're right on. Yeah, that's one religion doesn't say this prayer, the other one doesn't do this. The other, yeah, and at the end of the day, it's
like Lent. I think Lent is a great exercise for people to do if you take it serious. To me, it's a good exercise, because like somebody, when I said something, I was fasting for Lent, and they're like, I didn't know you're Catholic. I said, I'm not. Because it doesn't change the fact that I believe it's a good
most Catholics don't fast. Well, I know exactly what you're saying. They're supposed to, but
do they have to? I thought you're
supposed to on Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday.
On Ash Wednesday,
yeah,
right.
Fridays is Fish Friday.
yeah, no meat other than fish.
Yeah.
But it's like I think it's a good exercise in trying to grow your faith. I just thought it was something that was good to do. But it's like going to the gym or anything else. It takes work. You're going to have to put in some effort.
Yeah. I had some Lutheran friends that always teased me about that. They actually go to the church your boss does and Dave, but go to the same church that they belong to, the same Lutheran church. They always tease me.
I was going to say, they go to a church?
No,
I thought you were telling me that.
They just belong to it.
Okay, I was going to say, I didn't know that they did a church service at Dick's Bar.
Yeah. But they would tease me. It's like, why don't you eat meat? Why can't you eat meat? You know what's funny, though? You guys don't have no problem cashing in on them fish fries.
Nope.
Oh.
I don't know. I think it's all silly.
Yeah. I agree.
I think we should, the Protestants get made or harassed because there's so many different divisions of, there's evangelicals, there's Lutherans, there's Methodists, there's Baptists, there's all these, but it's like, okay, let's listen to the Catholics. Well, I don't think you should be doing a traditional Latin Mass. Well, I think we should be doing a traditional Latin Mass. Well, I don't believe this. I don't believe that. You shouldn't believe this. It's like, you guys fight just the same as everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, let's just get along. We're supposed to be trying to show people how Jesus wanted us to pursue and live. And it's like, and we're supposed to be examples for everybody else. And I'll be the first one. I'm a poor example, but I promise I'm trying harder and harder every day.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Anyways.
On that note.
I'll quit preaching. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey, we've been doing pretty good at keeping it under an hour and a half so the battery on the camera don't go dead. Anyways, appreciate everybody tuning in. Sorry I coughed into the microphone more times than I can count. And that's because Mark made me sick. Anyway, hopefully we will be back again in a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. We're still kind of playing it by ear because we don't know how schedules are going to go.
But Easter coming up.
And Easter coming up. Yeah, that's next week. Yeah.
Week after Palm Sunday.
Yeah. Shut up. I wouldn't even think about that. But anyways, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I do want to say, anybody that's left some comments, direct messaged us on Instagram, we greatly appreciate the feedback on the podcast. The folks that have talked to us in person, it has been really, really good. And we really do appreciate that feedback. And if you guys have any ideas or stuff you want to hear us blabber on about, feel free to reach out. DM us on the ABS Podcast Instagram page, or shoot us an email at a.bspodcast574@gmail.com. I couldn't get ABS Podcast. Would you believe that? Yeah. Quit giving me dirty looks. I did the best I could. Anyways, that'll wrap it up for us this week. We will see you all and talk to you all again soon. Later.